Let's break down specifically what's inside of this course because there is a lot of material to go into. So I've broken it down by stages, which are basically like the big chapters or clusters of modules put together. And rather than go through them individually here, I'm just going to go into each individual stage so you have a very high level of what is going on in this course. There's a total of 108 course modules. I went nuts on this thing. So this is months in the making. We're talking 42 presentation modules, which is basically lectures, video education. Paired alongside that, I have 66 activity modules. So every single video module that you have also has a video activity module to go with it. There's more than enough to go around. And the whole idea here is I give you a video version and a written version so that there is no excuse for not being able to execute other than you don't feel like it. There's a crazy amount of stuff in here. Give me a moment and I'll just break down each individual stage. So, stage one is the intro. We're going into everything right now in terms of that introduction, and you haven't even seen the motivations, results, and time commitments, and all these other things. So, super excited for that. Then we have that setup and get started. Trying to keep it real tight. If you are moving from the United States or interested in moving to the EU or specifically Denmark, there's some visa and immigration stuff to look into. If that is not the case, then of course you can skip it. Not a big deal. After that, we are putting our money where our mouth is. We're putting time, effort, and energy into building our CV, portfolio, and our LinkedIn profile. I've broken down each individual section of the resume. I've done it in a really interesting way that allows us to infuse that into the large language models, LLMs, AI tools that we're going to be using. There's a crazy amount of good information and templates and prompts in here. So I can't wait for us to really dig into that one. The next one after that is job search activities. Once we have that solid foundation, then it's AI and productivity tools. We're also going into why job boards suck and applicant tracking systems, which is the bane of most of our existence. It's how we get filtered out. I'll show everybody how to do AI cover letters, AI resumes, answer questions on the applications using AI, and then, of course, job boards in kind of my own interesting way, along with finding hidden jobs on hidden job boards. I think that's a lot of fun. After that, we'll go into targeting, and I use a metaphorical representation to talk about train stations, which should give you some ideas as to maybe you're not targeting the right industries and therefore companies, or maybe you're broadening your horizons and are open to different areas, and how to elicit, find, or really zero in on spark moments, which are the interesting things that either get a company ready to hire or means that they're directly hiring like crazy. Aside from that, there is LinkedIn outreach, and I'm a huge fan of LinkedIn outreach, LinkedIn automation. I create a ton of different templates via tutorials. I think there's a lot of really interesting stuff when it comes into scraping and then automating some of the outreach with the lists that you've created. The next thing is email outreach, and it is very similar to LinkedIn outreach. The differences are, of course, the tools and some of the different messaging and some of the different sequences that you'll end up putting out. And ultimately, this is a really great way of getting in front of the right types of people, and of course, following up endlessly so that we can hopefully get a meeting that results in an interview that results in a job offer. A really short section that I go into is channels and tactics and some of the unique angles that have gotten people jobs in the past and will probably continue to do that in the future. It's kind of like a nice buffer between the section that is interviews. So I break down how I do it and how I've seen a lot of successful candidates do it, and that involves a lot of company research. That involves getting a very clear understanding of what will be asked of you in the interview and practicing some of those questions potentially with an AI mock interview. And I demonstrate exactly how to do that, which is kind of interesting. And it's, I don't know, AI's nuts right now. It really is taking off in a crazy exponential way. And then, of course, there's post interview activities. And as part of anything else that happens within the job search, handling rejection and sending out rejection templates. Beyond that, I want to give people the opportunity to look at building a better schedule, which means not spending 99% of the time hitting instant apply in the job boards, but actually going in and building up content, supporting some of the other aspects of what they're already doing in the form of networking, creating or building something completely new using AI tools, upskilling, going out to events, potentially freelancing, and some final thoughts via memes that came from a very large lecture I did like 5 years ago. So Crazy, crazy. The presentation modules, just so we're on the same page, this is kind of what you would expect to see. You have slides, and then I'm injecting theory, instructions, some insights. I provide a lot of external validation, as I've mentioned earlier. I do try to give a high level overview of the activities before we dive directly in. This is just one of the activities in the form of a brief, and there's a ton of resources connected with this. So I've included all of the different email discovery tools that one could potentially use in order to do a ton of outreach to future potential employers. Inside of this, I go literally step by step, screenshot by screenshot to show you how to get set up. It is almost foolproof. You just have to put in a little bit of work. I've put crazy amounts of time into this. From the standpoint of the resources, I have really piled on as much as I could in order to give you the briefs, the resource sheets. Those are compiled with all sorts of tool lists, prompts, template docs, meaning like if you're doing outreach, I've given hundreds of different versions of outreach. I've given guides and articles that also supplement into that you can pair with prompts, which is absolutely wild. Lots of template sheets to work out of or use within a lot of the job search activities. I mean, it's just external validation, slides, videos, like you got it all. There is nothing missing in this. So I'm really excited to hand this over and give you a chance to start executing and building on your own.